And welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining me again today on this beautiful Sunday afternoon on the 31st of May. Today I'm standing in front of the historic MacArthur Park Museum, and I will be doing a walk of the historic MacArthur Park neighborhood. This is actually the former Little Rock Arsenal. It gets its name from General Douglas MacArthur, which was born just right over there somewhere in a building. I don't know which one, but it was during the Civil War. And this is pretty much the only building that's remaining of all of the complex that was here during that time. But he was born here, and so they named this park and this museum after him. So put on your knee brace, put on some good walking shoes, and go ahead, tag along. Hey geese, you want to tag along? Come on. So we are walking through the park. This is going to be crossing 9th Street. The church in front of me is St. Edward's Catholic Church. It did have a school, but right here, and a complex behind it, but it just closed this year or the year before. This little walk path right here that leads up to the MacArthur Park Museum. Actually, it's a military museum also. Is all pretty relatively new construction. They did a nice little pathway here. Cat a corner is Little Rock Fire Station number 2. And here is St. Edward's. They are probably in the middle of Mass right now, so we'll not disturb them. I'll link a walking map of the route that I'm actually taking. Right now, we're walking down Sherman Street, down to Capitol Avenue. And our first stop will be Trapnell Hall. So I fibbed a little bit to you. The first stop we're going to do is the Kramer School, which is located here at 715 Sherman. You can see that the tower has been removed from the top of the building, but other than that, it's pretty much in the same shape that it has been when it was built in 1895. This was later made a artist residence where art students could come here, starving artists could come here, work, and then sell their products or learn. Now it's an apartment building, and it still has this nice architecture in a shaded area right here. I'm just going to continue to walk. Along the right here in Sherman, some pretty cool red brick apartment complexes. I figured I was going to start at Trapnell Hall, but if I was walking by the Kramer School, I might as well do it. It's like to get out today on a really nice day and show some of the beauty of Little Rock during a crazy, weird period in our history right now. And not only are we in the middle of a health pandemic where people are supposed to remain indoors and have very little communication or interaction with the outside world, but then again, we're also having a lot of protests nationwide and worldwide against police brutality and the unfair treatment of colored people. So during the weird time, I'm going to come out here and we're going to show a little bit of the beauty of it. Lots of positives can come out of negative situations, and hopefully that will occur here. So right now I'm at the post office on the corner of Capitol and Sherman. I'm heading east on Capitol. Is the rainwater building. These are rainwater flats. They are condominiums that are for sale. They're not apartment complexes. So they are actually really nice and very convenient to the downtown River Market area. River Market Avenue is that street right there. So we're less than 4 blocks from the River Market. I guess what I'm going to do is just keep it on alive instead of cutting to each one, because it is nice to have a little walk around here and get to see what these places are. So here is Trapnell Hall, built in 1843, and as you can see, it's pretty much the same exact building that it was there. It was built by Frederick Trapnell for himself and his family. He and his wife married in 1836, which is the year that Arkansas became a state. And at that time, this would have been pretty prime area in a highfalutin spot in Little Rock. This would have been probably closer towards the outskirts of Little Rock in 1843. So we're gonna continue traveling east on Capitol. There are lots of living opportunities here. There's been a resurgence of people moving to the downtown area, and also apartments. These are all brand new apartments, probably within the last 5 years. So you can live in a brand new area, which this was actually the back parking lot on the other side. Right over here is Fassler Hall and the bowling alley. Those that used to be American Legion. So you can live in an old place right here, or directly across the street live in a brand new one. Can you see that little puppy right up there? It's a big poodle staring out the window. So, all right. So right here through the trees is the Kempner House, built in 1867. They built this as a multi-unit complex in 1867. This was built in right after the Civil War in 1867. And it still has pretty much the same flair. And you can even see it even has the chimneys still on top. So it's a good example of a house that has remained the same. And so directly across the street is the Nash rental houses, and they look pretty much the same. This was built in 1907, designed by Charles Thompson, which designed quite a few houses in this area. And it was made also for multi-unit living. And it has that really nice design in that arched window up there. It's a nice, cool house there. And then these red brick apartments, which this one actually has a sister apartment. Okay, I'm going to cross the street real quick and show you the Fowler house. It was built in 1840. Now it's pretty much a little apartment community. As you can see here, the balcony and columns all pretty much remain the same. That was built in 1840. That's just 4 years after Arkansas became a state, with the Greek revival elements, those columns, and it's not called a porch, it's called a portico, which I had no idea about that. But now it pretty much serves as a focal point of a gated apartment community. Gracie Mansion, which I don't know it as the Gracie Mansion, I know it as the Fowler House. Brick construction right next to our next stop, which is the Mills House, which was built in 1878. The Mills House was built for Anderson Mills and his wife, Eliza. they managed a plantation. As you can see, there's the porch of it, and this is the house right here. It's basically been remodeled within the last 5 years, and there's a bed and or a vacation rental by owner spot, and I'm going to show you this. There's a plaque right here. It gives a little bit of the information on the Italianate style of this home. It is used as a residence / office studio / Airbnb. Tall chimneys. The exterior was pretty much intact. I think they did give it a paint job, but the interior was a total wreck. Went to an estate sale there, and they were basically selling the lumber out of the house because it was in such poor shape. And then I went back for a tour of homes, and it had been completely remodeled, and turned into a pretty nice place. Why are you looking at me? That's weird. I don't even know how that happened. That was so strange that I was looking at me. Now we're traveling along 7th Street. These are the backside of the apartments that I showed you at the Fowler house. Alright, so I've walked by this before, but here it is. This is the Johnson house, built in 1877. As you can see, it pretty much looks the exact same. These are made into apartments, and this was one of the very first houses that were preserved for the National Historic Register. And right next to it is apartments that have burned, and they're remodeling those. And that one is the Turner Karcher house. He built that house for $4,000 in 1881. Here's a shot of it then and now. It looks almost the same, minus the exterior work getting done on it. Across the street here, I have stopped at this house before on the 7th Street walk from the Capitol to Ferry Street. I didn't really have that much information on this house, but this is the Pike Fletcher Terry house that was built in 1840. Get up closer and show you what the picture looks like. This is actually I don't know if I just looked at a resident, and I don't know if this is a private residence or not. There's somebody picnicking, so I'm just gonna make my way. I think that it's something that you can rent out. I don't think that it's actually a private residence, but she looked at us like, or looked at me like, what the heck are you doing here? So this is a 1940 decorative arts museum. Greek Revival, Civil War period. Nice little gazebo. I don't think this is a private residence, but golly, that lady sure gave me a weird look like, what the heck are you doing here? So this was constructed for Albert Pike, which was a famous Mason. And when he left here, it became the Arkansas Female College. And then it became a private residence for John Fletcher, Colonel Fletcher. Scoot out of there real quick. That was kind of strange. So I'm going to backtrack here. This is the red brick sidewalk across from the First Lutheran Church. And then the associated building with the church right there. But I'm going to come down here to the corner of 7th and Rock and show you the Welch Cherry house. Which is this right here. Basically the same. On the inside of it, it is not a house like per se, it is actually office spaces. And like I say, the church owns it or manages it. But that's a newer Queen Anne style house for that time. As you can see here on 7th and Rock at noon on a Sunday, it's pretty quiet. And those are the Cumberland Towers right there, which is one of Little Rock's. They built these in the 70s for low income. They were recently purchased by a private firm, and they still base it off your income, but it's not really. It was initially for older retirement age, but they kind of changed the rules, and it's not really that way anymore. So now kind of turned around right now because I took a detour. Should have. I think I skipped a couple of them. Yeah. Golly. It happens. So now we're going to go by the Johnson rental houses. This is a row of houses that were designed by Charles Thompson. Colonial Revival style houses. Try to get this angled right here. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. So these were built basically for Benjamin Johnson to supplement the income for his widow. He was not alive whenever they were finished. And I'm sure at some point this bridge in between them was put in there. Now it's called the Cromwell Court. But it was these 3 units right here. So there's definitely 2 units each from what I'm seeing, showing A and B. So I don't think that it's I don't think there's more than 2 in there. I'm going to swing back down. We're on 8th Street. I'm going to continue back on 8th Street to try to hit the house that I forgot. Of course. Oh, that's on 301. Well, maybe not. You're just tagging along, so my errors are your errors. How about that? But if you are in the market for an apartment, these are some really nice old houses in a historic neighborhood. I just love hydrangeas. Hydrangeas, when they are in full bloom, they are immaculate. Alright, gonna walk up Commerce. So this is the back side of the house that we're coming in. It actually accompanies half a city block. The Holtzman Vincenhaler house is a Queen Anne house built in 1898. It's directly across the street from the Arts Center, which is currently under construction. This is was on last year's Quapaw Quarter tour of homes. There is a creep out house right there, and actually had to deliver a refrigerator up some stairs. I'll show you. I'll detour that real quick. This house here, there was about 10 people sitting on this porch right here, and I pull up with a refrigerator right here on one of the busiest streets. I pull right up here, unload it, and then I come over here. The stairs are gone now, but there's a door right there, and there were stairs that led down to the ground right there, and I took them up those rickety stairs to that apartment that was right up there. And I got about halfway up, and one of the guys was like, "Hey man, you want me to give you a hand for $5? I said, I got it, thanks. But they were in the middle of that right there, if you know what I'm saying. They were in the middle of that. So onto the Holtzman Vincent Holler house. Show you what it did look like and what it currently looks like. It's not all grown up. It actually is in pretty good shape with this rounded brick porch, turret style ends. So it's got rounded in there, and then that one is a squared off. It has the pyramid type versus a cone type. Very geometrically, I don't know. And then right next to it is the same owner, William Holtzman. It's great that these houses kind of remain the same. There's not a lot of changes made to them, which whenever you're on the historic register, you really can't. But the rounded porch, the turret style, I don't know what those are called. This is actually apartments. I think there's 3 apartments in it. The original house over there is still single family, and then right next to it almost is kind of like walking into New Orleans with the balconies, stone pillars, grand columns. It's pretty neat. And so now we're back here at the fire station. That was a pretty quick walk. Sorry I fumbled through most of that. We're in the fire station, St. Edward's, and directly across the street is the old Little Rock Arsenal, which is now the Arkansas Military History Museum. And directly beside it is lots of construction for the new and improved Arkansas Art Center, which should be opening in 2022. They basically leveled it, starting from scratch. So thanks for joining me, stumbling through this walk. Look for part 2, which is going to be starting now.